Beautiful.
Don't know about you, but I'm absolutely goosed. I'm knackered, mate.
Me too. Flabbergasted.
But we're back again.
Back again.
Travelling Tom podcast.
Travelling Tom, third time's a charm.
Well,
Wow.
I'll say third time. Lucky, but the first two gone all right.
Yeah, not too bad. No major muck-ups.
Well. We say no major muck-ups in terms of the content of them.
Yeah, I think I fully agree.
The first one went surprisingly well. And we've actually, well, it'll be out now when you're watching this, but it's actually 4 days before it comes out, 3 days.
3 days.
It's Thursday today, it's coming out on Sunday,
Yeah,
so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or I suppose 3 or 4.
Congratulations, you can count.
It's depending on the way you look at it. And then we had the second one the other day. We had our first guests on, Chris and Gabs.
Beautiful people.
Yeah, fantastic story, and of course we had the little technical glitch in the beginning, which
tiny technical glitch.
I think if I just look now, we are still recording.
So,
the technical glitch
it's been resolved now.
It's been resolved now. Well, I think it recorded for something like 3 or 7 minutes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I can't count. It recorded for somewhere around there, and then it's paused. So I mid-podcast had to get up, and I even said like, "Oh, I'm gonna cut this out. Like it's not going in." Except I absolutely bottled that, and I've left it in.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's a podcast, isn't it? So
it's
if we
raw,
fuck
isn't
up,
it? Unfiltered.
That's it. If we fuck up, we fuck up.
Yeah. Which
we go again.
We'd go and we try again.
Because that's what I want this to be. I want it to be an honest, accurate representation of what's gone down.
Yeah.
In those that hour or two in which we're filming. So yeah, cocked up there, and Chris and Gabs, who they'll probably agree themselves, came a bit too early.
A little bit too early. I mean, it was a bit awkward setting up, wasn't it? We were just trying to get everything ready, and they were just there, but we still had good flow of conversation, I feel.
We did. No, we will see. And I mean, I feel this like when I'm talking to you, but like we're talking about things. A few things you told me just before whilst we were setting up, that it's like, stop talking and save for the podcast. Like we're talking to them. We talked to them probably for about the 45 minutes before we were setting up, and then you probably hear about, would you say, an hour after?
Yeah,
an hour after. I mean, we could have probably talked to them all day, but you know, it's just natural, isn't it? Like you're on camera, and you know, we're trying to get the main things out of them, but then we were talking with Chris after about equipment, and you know, Gabs was showing a few things in there about, you know, a bit more about what they're going to do in a bit more detail. What the plans are for the next few days. They were asking about us, what we're doing.
I can't say enough about them, how amazing they are as individuals. It's just, it's hard to process. I was a bit sat there in awe just at their story and what they're doing. It's just speechless, really.
Well, I think the thing that got me, I mean, you've got to understand that, you know, going through, it's never something I've done myself. It's something I've witnessed with my own mum, her going through that sort of journey and the treatment, and it's not nice, and it's hard for them. I'm sure. I can't say, like you say, through personal experience, but to say that she was turfing lawns when she was going through chemotherapy, and then the finishing, is it about 3 weeks from now?
Yeah.
Something like that. She has her final official dose of treatment, and then or dose of medication, and that signals the end of her treatment. And then about 10 days later, they're off.
It's just absolute madness.
On a cycling tour around the world. You know,
and they're so positive about it as well. Beyond positive, yeah. I mean, it's just, their approach is the best approach. They just jump in, don't they?
I think saying the positive is almost a disservice to them. They're like ultra like happy. Like, I don't know how else you would explain that, but the mental strength and the fortitude that they've obviously shown there is just unreal. It is hard to compute. It's hard to put it into words.
I mean, it was when they were actually saying about when they were thinking of seeing friends in Scotland, and I think they were based in Manchester, and they said one day they just woke up and were like, "Oh, we'll just cycle there." Just cycle to Manchester. I think they said it was 200 miles. And
it's up near Blackpool where they're from, so not too far from here.
It's just like to wake up and be like, I'll cycle 200 miles to see my friends in Scotland. That's just
Oh, you know,
That
but
mind process.
so sort of blasé and casually, not like, it's not almost like they had to think about it for a couple of weeks. They literally 2 days, they were going to drive, weren't they? And then like 2 days before, they just thought, fuck this,
Why not, yeah.
we'll hop on our bikes and go up. And I mean, you've got to give them credit for doing stuff like that, but to take on such a mastodon of a challenge, like cycling 100,000 kilometres. It's not just cycling 100,000 kilometres, they're going to cross 7 continents, 60 odd countries. I mean, that alone, with all the visa the processes they'll have to go through, all the people they'll meet along the way, not all of them are going to probably be the nicest people. It's going to be one hell of a journey, and probably the most remarkable thing, well, maybe not the most remarkable thing, because well, there's a few different things you could pick from, but certainly one of the most jaw-dropping moments of that podcast was when he was like, so we're going to go through India, we're going to go to Nepal, we're going to cycle to Everest Base Camp, and then I'm going to go and climb Everest. He's going to go and climb Everest. So he'll have cycled, I don't know how many thousand kilometres by that point. Would you say maybe 30, 40, 50, somewhere in that region?
I would say in that
30
region.
to 50,000 kilometres. And then he's going to go and climb Everest. I mean, you're a sort of hill climber,
hill bird.
mountain walker, rambler.
Rambler,
Is that right?
Hiker, something like that. And the training involved just to get to base camp alone is just mad. Let alone hike all the way to Everest after cycling 50,000 kilometres. Anyone will agree it's just.
Do you think you could actually do without all the cycling? Do you think you could do Everest?
After a long stint of training, and I wouldn't consider myself unfit either. Like,
but no, like, do you think you could do it? Like,
in my
let's say I gave you 6 months. Do you think you could do it?
Oh, I love a challenge, so I'll say yeah. Go for it. Yeah,
okay.
I'll give it a go. I mean, they'll get fit by that stage as well. After cycling 50,000 kilometres, you'll get pretty fit, I suppose.
I was looking the other day, just after that podcast, like the process, and there's actually, I think you can fly to Everest Base Camp on this dead dodgy airport that's dead short and has had loads of accidents. And
as you do.
Well, they're obviously not going to fly there because they don't want to use any sort of form of aviation, do they? And I was looking, and I think the cost is something like, is it 40 grand, 30, 40 grand, and that's just like climb the mountain. But I've been reading a little bit about it, and there's the people that take you up at, like, the guides are called Sherpas.
Yeah, Sherpas.
And they like do this multiple times a year. Well, like, I don't know.
I mean, it's the altitude as well. The sickness that you get from climbing that sort of altitude is just.
I suppose if they're acclimatised to it.
Yeah, they will be. Yeah. I mean, still, just as it was how casual he was about. Yeah, I'm just gonna hike Everest as well. You know, just as you do, just on your
Yeah,
weekend.
he just made it seem as though there's no challenge involved. No. It's kind of just like, it's almost like them saying, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the equivalent. It's almost like them saying, "Oh, we're going to go to Rome and we're going to go and see the Colosseum whilst we're there."
Yeah.
Like that sort of laissez-faire approach to
fully
it.
relaxed, like not worried at all.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I mean, yeah, it's just
You've never heard anything like that.
Never ever heard anything like that.
But I mean, I just really admire them because of sort of how ambitious they are, and I see, like, my outlook on life is similar. I mean, like, I'm not going to go and climb Everest anytime soon, probably. Well, I'd love to, like, if I had the time and money, I would. What?
We'll do it. Part of the podcast. We'll go do it.
Podcast on top of
Everest.
Everest.
that would scream headline.
I genuinely think as well with. I mean, I'm not like the greatest physical specimen, but I think with training, I could do it. Like, I feel something like that. Obviously, you've got to have a certain mental sort of toughness. But I feel like if I like put my mind to it and I did it, I always basically. We were talking about this the other day because we were talking about maybe going to Snowdonia or Ben Nevis or Scafell Pike, which are the highest mountains in Wales, Scotland and England. Yeah. And I said to you, like, people, you know, getting all the gear and proper go for it up these mountains, but I just think, like, is it really that difficult? I mean, I know Everest is another step up and you've got a
million steps up.
But I almost feel like if you're fit enough, is it really that difficult?
I think it's the fact that, like, you hear stories of people climbing up these mountains and, like, just passing out from the altitude or passing out from the tiredness because you don't get enough oxygen up there. And I think if you can sort of cope under the oxygen deprivation, then that's when you really realise how difficult it is. But I'd love to do, like, Kilimanjaro or something like that. I think that would be amazing to do. And then maybe Everest.
Yeah, well, yeah, you probably have to work your way up to it. You know,
just not go from Snowdon to Snowdon to Everest.
I've not even done Snowdon yet, so I'll just be going straight there,
Yeah,
straight to Everest.
Oh.
But yeah, to be honest with you, I would love to do a couple of mountains like that. And I was reading stuff like they have, isn't there some sort of ice waterfall type thing?
Not sure.
I don't, or there's something that's like it's like something to do with ice, but it's still moving, or I don't know. It's one of the most dangerous parts of it.
Oh, glaciers.
It's not
that.
It's
but
not a glacier. It's like glacier's like super slow moving,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this is like it's like a semi-frozen waterfall or something. But I think there's various routes you can go up here. Well, there's a route that's meant to be like the hardest route to go up Everest, and people actually do it. It's like
what? Just
there was some guy who got killed in like 1997. I think there was like a blizzard or something happened, and he just used to climb it like all the time. And I just think like,
it's
why
mad.
do you want to keep repeat? I mean he obviously loved doing it, and that's why he did it. But
It's just mad.
why would you carry on?
No idea. What were you saying? You said a few hours ago. You said how far the distance is between the peak of Everest to the flying height of commercial airlines. Was it like 4?
Yeah, so it's I think is Mount Everest 28,000 feet roughly, and I think you're at the peak at the summit, and I think your average sort of commercial airliner will fly between 33,000 and 34,000 feet. So obviously, what would the maximum be there? 6,000 feet. I mean, I'm on fire with me maths today. that Rachel Riley off Countdown's getting binned after this, isn't she? They're going to hear me doing me maths, and they're going to want me straight on there. But 6,000 feet is like incredible.
Oh, it's just mad.
Really. Because it's obviously a big height if you're measuring it off the ground. But in terms of like, you think you're sort of, I don't know, 5/6 of the way, you know, to touching a flipping commercial airliner. That's incredible.
High five there, man.
It is like you know, that's obviously how cold it is. You know, you fall out of a plane at that height, you're probably not going to fare too well,
No.
even if you had a parachute. So to be climbing mountains at that height and putting yourself under immense physical strain, yeah, maybe it is a bit harder than I've
Maybe.
But so they're going there, aren't they? And then they're heading here, there, and everywhere. And they're going to Antarctica. And I asked them, that was probably the most intriguing bit for me. It was like the Antarctica bit, because there's going to be no roads there. I mean, you can get a flight to Antarctica, and the runway is just like essentially like a line of snow with ice fields at the bottom, like with what do you call, like crevasses and stuff.
Crevasses, yeah.
So if basically the plane doesn't stop in time, you're probably going to fall down a sheet of ice. But I don't think they've had any accidents so far, none that I'm aware of. But if a plane's going to struggle and there's not obviously tarmacked roads there, how are they going to ride? And I know you said they had chains for the bikes,
Yeah.
but
Didn't they said they were also getting the cargo boat there, didn't they? Or that was their plan.
yeah, that's one thing on my bucket list actually.
Really get.
Cargo ship. I'd love to. I think it'd be dead cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. There's that movie with oh god, what's his name? Oh god, the guy Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, where they're on a cargo ship prison.
No, what's it called?
I think it's called like Safe or something, or Escape Plan.
Escape.
I mean, that's the logical.
Oh,
one.
is it the Escape Plan? Is it
Yeah,
called? Yeah,
it's so good.
I think I got that on DVD for my birthday off my dad probably about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
But
I
I
would
don't
think
watch DVDs anymore.
I walked into Asda the other day and I saw like a tiny section for DVDs, and I was thinking how fast they went like that, just gone.
Serious?
Now it's all like Amazon, Netflix.
But it's not just that. I mean, I'm not saying I do this, but I know people do,
Okay.
or I assume people
Yeah.
do. But say, for example, something's released in America. It might not necessarily be on the UK Netflix, but people will watch on certain websites where you can perhaps stream content that aren't above board, shall we say?
Yeah. Like,
So
put up VPNs as well.
I know, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, for example, a show I love,
Likewise.
got cancelled recently by Fox after the 5th season because obviously the ratings weren't there. But then there was a load of sort of outpouring of fan support, and a different station, NBC in America, have taken it on instead for its 6th season. Now, a lot of people won't watch it on Fox. A lot of people watch it on the internet after, potentially on. So, well, even people even upload things like that to YouTube, to other similar websites like that, and they can't count the ratings on there. They're not included in the ratings, so it'll look bad on paper, but that doesn't mean people aren't watching it. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it's still popular
Because it's hard to a streaming site. How you supposed? No, I'm not talking Netflix. I'm talking these sort of
dark web. Well, not even
Not
dark
dark
web,
web.
just
But these
illegal.
websites that you can go on and they upload all kinds, and they're available on multiple servers, all throughout the year. But I mean, also, who actually does that? Like,
it's just people in different countries where it's not sort of as legally frowned upon, isn't it? I can't think of the countries which they do it in, but
I know that Pirate Bay, who used to have all the torrents and stuff, they were based in like Sweden, and actually, I have a feeling it was legal what they were doing.
aren't they based in some? I heard they were based off like some African coast now, or so they've got like a base somewhere literally in the middle of nowhere. I can't think where it's called.
But like that's obviously it's to circumvent rules, but it's maybe maybe a bit different. But I just don't understand like the people who stream football games or do all of that, like how they make any money and why they do it, because you can literally probably watch almost any major football game anywhere in the world on one of these streaming websites.
It's those pop-up ads, and the advertising on the site. I think, I'm assuming that's how they do it.
Well, yeah, maybe, but it's fucking crazy, isn't it?
It's mad.
To think there's people that literally like every time a TV program's shown in America, it's recorded, or then they put it online, or they get it somehow.
It's mad.
It's amazing, but
Time and effort. Eh?
Time and effort. I mean, I'm earning about a few blog posts here and there, and thinking how much hard work that is. Like when people are going through seasons and seasons of content and just smashing it all. It's not like Netflix. Like I can't imagine it's like Netflix where they have thousands of people working for them.
Unlimited holidays as well. It's
What?
benefit for working for Netflix. Unlimited holidays.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know that's how. Pardon me. I know that's what they do at Social Chain.
Yeah, no, Netflix unlimited holidays.
as well. But how does that possibly work?
I think it's done in the sense that they believe that if you're not tied down, then you'll still want to come to work and like love work because you know that you have that freedom. So you won't just go on holiday all year round. And I think the job roles, perhaps, you can do in different countries or do in different locations. That's my assumption of it.
I mean, I have thought about that before, and I think you're right. I wouldn't want to take the piss because, I mean, maybe they're on some contracts where they can be sort of let go.
Yeah.
If they are taking the piss, but because I was thinking like before I graduated, and I was looking for jobs and stuff, I thought how sick would it be to work at Social Chain? You probably get paid, I don't know, 21 grand a year, which isn't a lot, but you just literally be able to go on holiday when you want and not have to answer to anyone. But they say unlimited holidays. Do you have to book that off with your manager?
No idea.
Can you just go straight like? Do you see
No,
where I'm coming
I've
from?
often wondered it because I mean, like you're
like
just
where's the limit, where's the boundary? But I think for me it's like I think even at work, like you feel cheeky sometimes like doing certain things, and it's like I wouldn't want to kind of say
take the piss a little bit.
yeah. I wouldn't want to go straight up to them and just be like, I'm having 2 weeks off here, I'm having 2 weeks off there, I'm doing this, I'm doing that in a bit, because they're going to turn around and like it might not say it to your face, but they might turn around and kind of be a bit funny with you in your work life.
I think so. I mean, otherwise it's just not feasible. Like the structure, like what if everyone went on holiday at the same time?
I'd be dead interested to find out.
Yeah, we'll get Steven Bartlett on if he ever sees this podcast.
Open invitation, Stevie, if you want to come on.
We're Manchester based also.
We are Manchester based, so no excuses.
No. He's just there watching this. I have to come on this too.
You like my tweet the other day?
Yeah, he's pretty good on social media responding.
He is, and on LinkedIn, didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't he reply to you?
Yeah.
We may as well get into this debate now because I was actually.
Oh yeah. Interesting debate.
This is some great podcast material. Just me on my phone.
Yeah.
You looking at me on my phone.
Wow. And you counting on your fingers as well.
That's it.
That's it.
Got some interesting, incriminating text from James here.
Yes.
So basically, Steven Bartlett, at Steve Bartlett SC, if anyone would like to know.
He's decent to follow.
Twitter.
Yeah.
He is, yeah. My nose, mate. People, I don't know if I have hay fever,
Wow.
but I think I'm allergic to my dog. that's a story for another day, really,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Next
so if
podcast.
I'm just rubbing my nose throughout this whole podcast,
That's the reason.
my nose is like screwed. I'm like on the verge of sneezing, but I don't want to sneeze because, yeah.
The audio would just be nuts. Yeah.
You just hear like gloopy, like
Yeah.
drips
Oh,
of
no.
snot throughout the
And I'd
rest
also
of...
see it as well. It's even worse.
Potentially.
Potentially worse.
But I feel like it'd be one of them where it's like a thin spray, so they won't be able to.
Okay. Yeah, can we get back to it? Instead of talking about this
So,
disgusting.
Steven Bartlett at Steve Bartlett SC. I hope he doesn't mind me calling him Stevie. I think we're mates, so he like me tweet. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. University is a scam. If you're spending dollars on a degree to increase your employability, for the vast majority you're being ripped off. Experience generally matters more. A 1-year internship will make you drastically more employable. So that was on his Twitter.
Yeah.
And then he went into more detail. And he put, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, for the majority university is a scam. If you're spending tens, hundreds of thousands on a degree to increase your employability, for the majority you're being ripped off. Experience generally matters more for the majority of professions. A 1-year internship at a great company will make you drastically more employable. Of 290 people that we've employed in the last 3 years globally, in every role including design, marketing, legal, finance, sales, home, human resources, data, business, and even our chef. The number I've asked about degrees, 0. The number I've asked about their prior experience, 290. The "but my doctor needs a degree" argument doesn't make scamming the majority acceptable. Majority of workers say their job did not require a degree. Majority of business owners don't have a degree. Majority of people with a degree say their job is unrelated to their degree. Thoughts?
I mean, he's got fully like valid points, and I think it's a bit biased, but up until probably a week or two ago, I would have agreed with him 100%. However, I just got on a grad scheme, so it made it worthwhile for me. But for the most of it, I do agree. Like,
I do agree in terms of. I think calling it a scam is a bit
of a push.
OTT.
Yeah.
And I think there's the whole, I mean, we could go into this debate for hours, and we're not going to, but there's the whole sort of finance side of things. So should students in this country be paying, well, I paid £9,000 a year, and I think in the past year or two, that's gone up to 9,250.
That's what I paid, yeah.
So 9,250 times, or 9,000 times
It's just
3
mad, man.
is 27,000. 27,000. Would you like a vowel or a consonant, James?
Yeah.
It's 27,000. And then my master's was, I actually got discounts for staying on at the same university and for getting a first in my undergrad.
Winning.
Hashtag winning. So I probably saved about £3,000 on that. But again, that was like, let's just say £5,000. So that's £32,000. That's without any of the living expenses.
Yeah.
The university I went to, I did a journalism course, and part of the course you had to do broadcast journalism. We needed cameras and microphones. The microphones needed batteries to operate, like AA batteries. You bear in mind, you're paying £9,000 a year. Did he provide the batteries? No.
Yeah.
Printing out, they give you a certain number of printer credits at the beginning of the year. The problem with that is that to print out a colour sheet costs like ridiculous amounts, so your printer credits go like that. So you might spend, I think even probably on the least paper-based course, you'd probably be spending at least 20 quid a year.
I mean, yeah,
on printing.
It doesn't really make sense.
Financially, it is, possibly a scam. But having said that, loaning all that money, you might never have to pay it back. The threshold's been moved up to £25,000 a year now.
I thought it's still 21.
So you say you have a few years at 24 grand. You probably, I think after 30 years it gets written off. So for the vast majority of people, they're never going to pay the whole student loan off. So in 50 years or maybe 30 years time, when some of these student loans start dropping off, it'll be really interesting to see what they do. So I think from that perspective, it's not a scam, because essentially the government pays for your education.
To an extent.
I know it's a loan, but
I mean, sort of an example from where I'm from down south is the Chancellor of a university. I don't even need to say the name, because if you know it, you'll know it. She was being paid close to £1 million a year. That was like her contract, the Chancellor of a university. And it doesn't quite compute. Like, when you think about, I'm sure that her pay isn't completely docked from student loans. Like, that probably wouldn't be feasible or fair, but mad.
yeah.
Tom's phone's just going off mid-flow conversation.
Go mad. Why are people texting me?
Yeah, Stevie, isn't it? He wants to get on this podcast.
He's managed to hear it without publishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the first one comes out on Sunday, so you'll have to see that and then hopefully come down.
Yeah,
but no, I know what you get. I think the Vice Chancellor at our university who's on like a ridiculous amount of money as well. But they are for-profit organisation. I mean, not every single one is. I don't think. Like there's the open. I don't know if the Open University is, but yeah, they're going to be on like mad. And then you'll have like, I don't know, lecturer strikes halfway through the year,
and right before your exams.
People are happy because they can get an extra day sleeping in bed and lounging around all day. But generally, it costs a lot of money per hour. I mean, my course was like, I think 9 to 12 hours a week.
I mean, it's when it's like lectures get cancelled or you turn up and no one's there or the plan doesn't really, it's just a make you do lecture. You think just like, what in world's name am I paying for? Because at the end of the day, you are paying for it.
Well, that's true. And I was in 9 to 12 hours a week, both 2 semesters a year, each semester 10 weeks. So that's not even half a year.
It's just mad.
That's actually, that's less than half a year. That's, 40% a year roughly.
I mean, I also like understand the perspective that if you really wanted to learn the stuff at university and you had the commitment and willpower, you could just go to the library and learn everything at the university.
Oh, of course you could. And as Steven says, experience is massive. I mean, you can get a degree now and go and apply for a job. If you've not got the experience, it's going to be really difficult for you. I mean, I found it difficult. I've got all the experience from my blog, from doing placements at the Liverpool Echo, Manchester Evening News, Lonely Planet. I've gone out and done stuff, and it wasn't that easy for me to go and get a job. And just to sort of pad Steven's argument a bit, I had a job before I started at a supermarket. Before I started uni, I didn't go straight from my A-levels into uni, and I was working at a supermarket and I was getting paid, I think, about 20 pence an hour less than what I'm getting paid now after I'm in 50-something thousand pounds worth of debt. Well, I mean, it's the cheapest debt you'll ever have, they say. And I earn about 20 pence an hour more, which what equates to about £1.50 a day, £7.50 a week, which is about £30 a month, and I don't know, so like not even £400 a year.
Unless your Netflix subscription or your gym subscription.
I'd have to work for it to balance out and pay back the investment that I made in my university. It will take me over 100 years just to earn that extra money that the university degree cost me. If I was assuming I was working at the same salary, which I won't be forever, but that sort of lends really well to what Steven's saying. However, university for me has given me 4 of the best years of my life. It's given me, is that your?
Probably my camera, because it's got like a 30-minute cut off.
Well, yeah, that says 28 minutes on it. So I hope it was your camera. If it was something else, we were a bit screwed. Yeah. But no, we're gonna keep going. So where was I now?
Oh God, I lost your track before. Mate. At university, 4 years, best of life.
Yeah. Right. I'm back on track. So university, brilliant 4 years. Met new people. Great to sort of live away from home. Then in sort of second and third year, you get to choose who you live with. I live with my mates, most of whom are still my mates now, and I saw like a couple of months ago. It's kind of helped me become a bit more self-confident, a bit more enthusiastic about education and about the way I see the world. I hated school. I hated college. I think because it felt like you had to do it and like you didn't have the choice. Whereas at university, I was doing something that I wanted to do, that I'd opted to spend my hours on. And I just had the best time. It gave me, obviously your student loan gives you and sort of lack of contact hours gives you a bit more freedom and a bit more free time to do what you want. I travelled loads in my third year. When I was a master's student, I probably neglected my work a little bit, but I still got my degree. And I went to, probably in my third year in masters combined, I went to like 40 countries. I did work 2 part-time jobs to help finance that alongside the student loan, but I think if I was working full-time, I might not have had that initial couple of years to sort of push myself into the world of like blogging and really go travelling and sort of make the most of it
and find yourself.
That's what you're going to say when you're like, myself,
going travelling and find myself.
I find myself.
Like,
Well, I travel. I travel not to escape life, but so life doesn't escape me. That's the fucking cringy shit I've been seeing.
Love those quotes though.
I hate those quotes. What, you said you had a t-shirt with it on?
Yeah, not on that though. What, the other day?
Fucking.
Just to wear for you. I'll wear it next podcast.
Well, we'll discuss this. We'll discuss this off camera when when I can go a bit more, use a few more expletives than I would.
And then I'll mention Everton Football Club.
I don't think anyone wants to mention that at the moment.
Moving on from that conversation.
Moving on from that. Well, it's just given me such a sick 4 years. And it's taught you, obviously, like, sort of the basic skills of, like, living on your own.
Yeah.
It does it in a setting where if you completely fuck up, you're literally, you've got, like, a safety net always. Yeah. And you know, you've still got to show the sort of application and the passion to complete a degree and to do a good job, especially if you want to be getting sort of a first and like the best grade. Yeah. You know, it shows you've got to have at least some commitment and some sort of want to do it. So I don't think it's completely useless, and for some jobs it's a minimum requirement. So if you don't have a degree, that rules out so much immediately. But if you live at university and you have that experience, if you're the type of person that I am, like you're quite social, you like going out, you love meeting new people and experience, like having new experiences, you'll, even if you're maybe not doing a course that you particularly enjoy, you'll just love the whole sort of university experience. So I think scam is a bit, and he does use the word generally, he doesn't say like this is definitely a scam for everyone, because obviously doctors, dentists, vets, people like that, vets do need degrees. Not everyone does, but I just think that I just feel now that the university is such a valuable experience outside of the degree, and I don't think that gets enough credit. And also, I've just seen that I've put here that sometimes, and we've talked about this, I'm not going to go into detail about it now, but experience is a word. Just because you're older doesn't necessarily mean you have more experience, nor does it mean, I don't think experience alone should be the key factor in deciding that someone gets a job. I don't think there's enough emphasis at the moment on the skills people have, particularly younger people who they might not have been doing things as long, but they know how to do more things.
In fact, especially with like the term like digital nowadays, like coding, anything to do with like Photoshop or anything that's online and on your computer, if I was in a position, I'd employ a young person over an older person, generally because they've grown up with it and they know it better than anyone.
Well, that's it. Like I've probably been to some jobs where I feel like I've missed out, but I bet my skill set was a lot more diverse than theirs. They might have just had more experience than me. But people, I think too many recruiters think in a sort of linear fashion. They just want kind of what looks maybe good on paper and maybe not what's best in practice. And I think, to be honest, some recruiters are stuck in their old-fashioned methods as well, and that's not going to lend well to good recruitment practices. And unfortunately, that has a knock-on effect. But if you've got all these skills, I suppose you're going to find a landing spot somewhere, because if you're good enough, you're going to get a job. And you're gonna, even if you don't necessarily get a job working at a company, you might find your own little niche now. I mean, you got to look at like freelance roles and you know, these like you said, this digital nomad sort of lifestyle. There's a lot of things you can do from the comfort of your own sofa. I mean,
and make money on it.
That's it. Look at these YouTubers. Like I know not everyone can just pick up a camera and bang, they're gonna have a million subscribers, but that, you know, people are doing things now from not just even in the comfort of their own home, but anywhere in the world. People are moving out to Thailand, to Vietnam to pursue their careers because they can literally work from the laptop. I know I think next year Estonia are planning to bring in a digital nomad visa, so you can go and live in Estonia for a year and just kind of work from there just like you would at home. And I think that's fantastic. I think we'll see more of that as we go forward, but I think it'd be great if to match things like that, like hopefully when the old guards sort of die out, people will be more forward thinking, will be more considerate when it comes to a recruitment process. So I think Steven is partially right. I don't think he's
completely right.
completely right. I think degrees can be valuable. I think experience can be valuable, but I don't think just because someone's not had years and years of doing something, that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be worse at doing it, or they'll take as long to acclimatise as one might think. I think you've got to take skills into account. I think you've got to take experience into account. And if they have done degrees, I don't think you should dismiss that.
No.
I don't think you should say, oh, it doesn't matter if you got a degree or not, mate, because it's shown that they've had some initiative somewhere.
And worked hard for it as well.
And worked hard for it. You know, it's not, you don't turn up and get a degree, as daft as some degrees are.
Yeah. Harry Potter, I think, study of David Beckham, Harry Potter degrees.
Yeah,
there's actually
study of David Beckham. Yeah, I've heard that. And it's daft, and I mean that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like that is a silly kind of that's the sort of exception that proves the rule in this point. But you know, there's probably, I don't know, some daft media courses or other that might sound like animation, for example. Like people say animation. I'm not saying that's a daft course by any stretch of the imagination, but it's kind of like, you know, you think, oh, cartoons, like, oh, it's like a bit of a laugh course, but like that guy we were talking to before, works seriously hard, puts in a lot of hours, and like I said, there was that guy that did like Guardians of the Galaxy, and if you look at his like show reel, like the work that goes into it is insane.
Absolutely insane.
But I just think not enough emphasis is placed on skills, and like I say, I do think experience can be a big thing, but I don't think like maybe Steven was suggesting that it should be the only thing. I think,
not everyone can, like, I'm going to say this, but not everyone can go out and just suddenly set up a business or have the initiative to go into a company at a young age before university starts and go, you know, I think I'm valuable in this position. It just, people don't think like that, which is like the exception, I think.
That's it. And not everyone necessarily has the kind of ways and means of getting into certain or having certain opportunities. Like a lot of people who have maybe had like big success with, or they've gotten some like really cool placements, or they've had opportunities that look amazing on a piece of paper, might be because the parents know someone, or they know the right person, or they've just got lucky and happened to be in the right place at the right time. Things like that do happen, and I just think it is worth putting some emphasis on people's skills.
Yeah. Do you believe in luck in terms of
100%
career and like progression and things like that?
1,000,000%. Every successful person in history has been lucky.
This is interesting because I often believe that luck comes after hard work, and like hard work goes to luck. This is another quote.
But it's literally provable that that's not true.
You know, but in terms of the sense, like, if you didn't put in the work, you wouldn't be able to get the offer or the opportunity to do something.
But some people literally get things put on their lap. Do you know what I mean? And you look at there'll have been billions or millions of people throughout history that have worked their arse off and got like fucking, I don't know, hit by like a drunk driver and killed or something like that, and being unlucky in ways like that, or they might have got an illness like cancer that's stopped them from, you know, doing what they want to do, or even just they've not been in the right place at the right time, and they've put in like incredible. They've been really hard working. They've done everything right that they could possibly do. They were just unfortunate not to be, you know, like first in the queue. They were second in the queue. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean.
Like like you hit, because you even like hear some success story. I'm like trying to think off the top of my head, but there's just like. There's just ones that I think there was like I can't think, but you just hear you do hear like mad stories about how people like were had tried this and tried that and it just hadn't worked, and then one day they saw an advert or they bumped into someone in the street and this happened. And maybe you could put it down to fate, but I think every successful person in history, doesn't matter whether you're successful at football, you've been the president of the United States, you've, I don't know, you have a business that I don't know, sells plumbing supplies and has turned over £15 million a year. Like, whatever, you've been lucky somehow. And that's not to discount hard work, because I don't think I'm not trying to say like, oh, it's all down to luck, but every successful person, in my opinion, has been lucky to get there. You look on you all you need to do is look on YouTube. Like some of the people that have millions and millions of subscribers, yeah, the complete shit. Yet there'll be people grafting their asses off, making unbelievable videos, really working hard, putting in more hours than some of these top guys and girls on YouTube. Yet they've got maybe 0.1% of their subscribers.
But they're still putting the work. Like, if they didn't put the content out there, they would never got the subscribers.
But it's not like it
is though.
It isn't though. For example, you only have to look at girls on Instagram. Like, not all of them, but some girls on Instagram, literally all they do is take the kit off and they've got like 10,000.
But they still take their kit off. They still do the work.
Yeah, but it's not hard work, is it? That's what you're trying to say.
I understand.
Why?
Like, it's still work though. Like, admittedly, like getting that like exposure and that like luck to an extent, but it's still work to be put in before that happens.
There's literally girls that like get the wabs out literally hour. You that's like me saying, oh, I get changed in the morning. The only difference is I'm not taking a photo.
True.
There's some girls that literally get the wabs out and literally smash the likes because of it. And I'm not saying, like, they're obviously going to do it. I'm not saying they're wrong to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you see some amazing photographers on Instagram get fuck all. You see a girl, because she looks nice, something she was born with, it's just literally the way she looks. And she'll be really successful because she looks a certain way.
True.
Like that Iskra Lawrence, for example, classic example. And then they'll bang on about, you know, body positivity and how, like,
What did you see,
everyone should be equal. Yeah, they're literally profiting off the way they look.
True. Well, did you see Kim Kardashian's post? Actually, I think Steve Bartlett mentioned it as well, that it was something to do with appetite suppressors, and she was advertising it a certain way. And I think the post got deleted because it bridged Instagram's self-harm policies. I don't know if you saw it, but just things like that. I mean, like...
But, like, her dad was a famous lawyer or successful lawyer. She'll have had loads of money behind her. The only reason she's in that position, again, she got lucky. She did a sex tape, which most people will ruin their careers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made hers, but she's got lucky in that it's gone that way for her.
I understand, yeah. I mean, she would have been in a position anyway where she didn't have to worry. That's my assumption of the whole situation.
So you've got a job. So let's say in 2 years you're working this new job, and, like, I know it's a bit far-fetched, but a sex tape comes out with you in it, and people see it at work. You get sacked. Your career would be in jeopardy.
Yeah.
In jeopardy, and you'd literally potentially be screwed.
Yeah.
Pun intended. Yeah, Kim Kardashian, for her, it's worked out the other way, and that's kind of kicked off her success and helped her to become a global superstar or like a global celebrity, whatever you want to call her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just been lucky that it's gone that way for her.
I mean, she's still putting the work in the bedroom to, you know, get...
She was literally... not that I've seen it, but she was literally lying face down, just lying there whilst... Do you know what I mean? It's not like she really...
I can't say I've watched it, but... I'm assuming that's what she was doing.
I've heard from a source that that's what she was doing. Well, do you see what I mean? I think every person in history who's been successful has been lucky, and that's nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
But all I'm saying is, I think, in my opinion, that even if they don't recognise it, they have. You just think, like... for example, like some of the footballers that say have come out of the Brazilian slums, like Neymar, for example.
Yeah.
I'm sure he come from like a sort of like a shanty town, like a slum. Yeah, I bet there's been like, I don't know, tens, hundreds of Brazilian children who are being like amazing that might have just got caught up in like a, well, not necessarily not got the opportunity, but might have been caught up in like a violent gunfight one day and got shot and killed, and that's just, unfortunately, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. And
they could have gone on to be like one of the world's best footballers, but we'll never know because they never got that opportunity. True. And yeah, like you say, like people in poverty, you know that thing they say about like the cure for cancer could be in the brain of a starving child in Africa.
Yeah.
Well, they might live their life, you know, never having enough food, you know, dying of starvation. Yeah, if they were given the same opportunities as everyone else is given, then they might go on and like you
No,
say.
I fully understand. But then that's not so much. I could suppose you could put it down to luck, but just not having the opportunities or development in place to be able to do that.
I mean, luck's not a tangible thing, so
No.
it's difficult to sort of categorize it as like a thing where we're like, this exists.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a human. It's kind of like a human sort of method of reasoning.
Traveling Tom's definition of luck.
Yeah. Well, it's a human concept, isn't
Yeah,
it? Really,
well, I
luck.
suppose if you think about it.
It's true.
So what would you say if this podcast went massive overnight? Would you say that's luck?
Yeah.
But then we did put in the hard work of doing the whole setup and everything like that.
We've put in the hard work, and I'm not saying it's not down to the hard, because if we didn't come here in the first place and make this happen,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have happened. Like we wouldn't have put ourselves in a position to be lucky.
Yeah, but then if you go back to that girl who took her top off, if she didn't take her top off, then she wouldn't have been in a position to...
Yeah, but like you think, for example, this is the example. I've got it now.
Okay.
So you know when people tweet stuff out on Twitter,
Yeah.
and like some people get like, I don't know, 16,000 retweets and 40,000 likes, like tweets that bang. Most of them are lucky tweets, because some come from people who don't have very sort of big followings, but the right people see it, the right people retweet it and like it. It grows and grows, and it just so happens that the algorithm matches like however many retweets it's got, and it's showing up here, there, and everywhere. Like that guy, that Wendy's chicken nugget guy. Do you remember him on Twitter?
Can't say I do.
That Carter guy, and he tweeted Wendy's, who are like some fast food chain in America, and he said like, "Yo, Wendy's, how much for, I don't know, a year's supply of chicken nuggets?" And they said you need 3 million retweets. So I think he went and he's the most retweeted tweet of all time.
Never seen that.
And he was on like Ellen and stuff like that. But like I could have tweeted that a couple, like 2 months before him, and it might have been seen by like 4 people and got a couple of likes. But it's just so happened that the right people have been on Twitter at the right time for that to blow up. Look at all these like viral videos, Damn Daniel and stuff like that. You know.
I understand. I mean, I think this will just agree and disagree for like continuous period of time. But yeah, no, I fully understand.
Or, you know, dance moves like this floss or the dab. These people have just happened to have been seen by so many.
Yanni and Laurel. Is it Laurel and Yanni? Have you seen that?
You could have put that on.
What do you think it is? Is it Yanni or Laurel?
I heard Laurel.
I heard Yanni.
I knew you were going to fucking say that.
No, that's
I knew
true.
you just said that on purpose.
Yeah.
If you won't agree with me on this, I'm just going to disagree with you on everything.
Yeah. No, that's true. I did hear Yanni.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. That I think it's
like
something.
that blue dress. Was it gold dress or blue dress?
That was basically exactly the same as that.
Yeah.
But that was weird. In the first time I saw that dress, white and gold.
Yeah.
I was like, someone showed me, and they're like, "Oh, it's blue and black." I was like, "You're taking the piss. It's white and gold." Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then I saw it like a couple of days later, and it was blue and black.
There you go.
But I think that was just to do with the lighting on the screen and
Must be.
you know, brightness and stuff like that. But this Yanni and Laurel, I've actually heard it both ways now.
Have you? I haven't actually heard it.
But
Laurel. I've only heard it Yanni.
But someone's, I don't know, like mixed it in a way where you can hear both.
Oh, really?
So, well, I'll show you later, but you'll be able to hear both. It was like Laurel.
No, Yanni.
But I've heard the Yanni one. It sounds like someone's constipated, like Yanni. It's weird.
Yeah, he's mad. I don't really understand all those things.
But the central point is that I just think everyone, and you, like you say, luck's a human concept. It's actually in here. Like it's, you know, when people say like there's, I don't know, a 1 in 4, like there's a 1 in 50 chance of this happening. There's a 1 in 14 million chance of winning the lottery.
Thomas back to his maths.
No, I know, but you know, it's like a 1 in 14 million chance of winning the lottery. Or it might be more now. There's not. There's 1 or 2 ways that's going to go. You either win it or you don't win it.
It's bang on. It's true.
But we reason.
When you go into a casino, you like.
But as humans, we sort of reason and kind of put that down into, or sort of take that down into kind of like a more what's the word I'm looking for? A way that our brains can compute it more to understand.
That's fair enough.
How likely or unlikely it is to happen. And I think luck's maybe a bit like that in terms of, I might perceive it as luck, but it's not actually luck. It's just that human's being there at the same time. Like, it's just made like conversation
true,
with
but
that
I mean,
human. And
it's just also having like optimism and just generally. I've been in situations where if I hadn't spoken to someone, then that luck wouldn't have occurred. So it was on my part and the work that I put in to get that luck.
But I think I don't know whether you're thinking I'm saying it's just down to luck.
No,
I don't think that it is, but there's plenty of people who have had plenty of conversations and done all the right things and not got the right result at the end of it. I think luck's just a way of branding sort of people that have the right things just happened to some people. All right, you might not sort of conceptualize that as luck, but I do. I think that's probably what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think so too.
But it's a pretty interesting conversation. I just think everyone that's ever been successful in life has been lucky in some shape. They've been lucky to just in the beginning.
Yeah, to be in that position.
To have been in that position, to be people. In fact, we're all lucky in a way to have even been born. I mean what is it? Something like, again, I'm going to go with the chance thing, which
okay, I thought you were going to say the maths thing.
It's like the 1 in 30, is it 30, I don't know, however many million or billion is like the sperm, like yours, like you managed to get to the egg and then it created you. Like if it literally, like the finest of margins have decided that. True. And I remember, I don't know if it was Ricky Gervais or someone along those lines has said stuff like that before. Like, you know, people who are, I don't know, depressed or feeling down or whatever, it's like, it's incredible that you're even here.
Yeah, it's true, 100%.
Like, you know,
make the most of it.
Or people that are maybe just down on the luck and just like feeling like the life's a bit shit at the moment. It's incredible that you're even there to like think these thoughts. Like, there's every chance it could get better and things. And I mean, it's Mental Health Awareness Week this week, so that feeds quite nicely into that. But it is true, if you can, you're sort of being here is amazing enough, then, you know, there's every chance your mind could change in the future. So if anyone's listening to this and
keep positive,
feels a bit down and down in the dumps,
just got to keep
positive, keep your chin up, and it can all change because of one day one of my tweets might bang. So I've just got to keep going.
Yeah, one of these podcasts will go on the front page of YouTube one day.
Hopefully.
What do they say? Visualization, is it? Conor McGregor, have you visualised? Yeah, I think, well, there's the big study of visualisation, but Conor McGregor was the first one he mentioned it, and I heard. And he was like, if you visualise something constantly and for a long period of time and you can only see that in your head, it will happen. I can't think who made the concept, but he was the one who...
Well, let's just hope in 20 years I'm living in a big mansion, lying on a stack of money, with babes on my arms and all the rest of it. No, I've not thought of that.
The cash shower.
The cash shower. I just think that I think luck is a big part of success. I don't think it's the only part of success. Like I was saying with the skills and I just think that's my opinion. You obviously think it's just, well, mainly down to hard work. And
I think, I know, I agree in luck.
Do you think you make your own luck?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you make your own luck in this life.
Okay.
That's an interesting perception. Yeah.
As an Everton fan, I would completely disagree with that, but let's move on.
Yeah.
So,
as soon as Everton's mentioned, just...
So let's move back onto travel.
Yeah, I was just going to say we've gone off, but I mean, you know...
Yeah, well, that's the whole point of the podcast,
isn't it? It is
the
whole point of the podcast.
You want to talk about this stuff?
Yeah.
I enjoyed that discussion.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed proving you wrong. So.
No, I wouldn't comment below in the section who won the argument.
That's true, yeah. Comment who won the argument. Is luck a part of success, or is it all down to hard work? Let us know what you think. You decide. And also, I just want to say, I'll leave this till the end, actually.
Okay, yeah.
But just remind me that I've got something to say at the end, so I remember.
Yeah, will do. I'll try my best.
I recently come back from Gdansk in Poland, and it was very good.
Yeah?
Very nice city.
Favourite part?
That we could go on the Friday night and come back on the Sunday night, so I didn't actually have to take any days off work.
I love how that was your favourite part of the whole trip.
I didn't actually, no. The actual favourite part being there, they have this sort of main street. It's called like Dulkatarg or something like that. And they don't have like a traditional main square like a lot of Polish cities and towns do. But they had this main street with all these beautiful buildings, dead colourful, like you find in Poland, like quite ornate looking buildings. I'm not very good with the specific names of the architecture. I have to Google that first, whether it's Baroque or whatever. But it was beautiful, dead cheap. The food was nice. Wasn't that touristy, so it was quite cool to
that's nice.
add a more of a sort of Polish feel to it. It kind of reminded me, it kind of, what I think it would look like is Amsterdam, Bruges and Hamburg had a threesome, and
produced the baby,
produced all produced parts of this baby that spit the Gdansk out.
I mean, that's a specific.
You've got the big buildings that you like, like them tall sort of fancy top buildings you have in like Amsterdam and Bruges, and then you've got like the waterways and the docks like you have in Hamburg, and they have it's called the Gdansk shipyard. It used to be called the Lenin shipyard, which is like a very famous part of the city. It was I think it was in the sort of late 70s, early 80s. Like all the workers went on strike when it used to be kind of overseen by the communist USSR, and I think it made sort of global news. That it spawned a group called Solidarity. I don't know how you pronounce it in Polish. It was like Synowiec or something. It was this group, and they all rallied around the idea of sort of solidarity and all sort of being together. And I think in the end they got the better conditions and everything that they wanted. And they were led by a guy called Lech Wałęsa, which I come home and I like telling older people about the trip, and they're like, oh, that's all I know about Gdansk is the shipyard of Lech Wałęsa. And he was kind of like sort of spearheaded this solidarity revolution, and it's really interesting to learn about that. They've got like a museum about it now in the docks. The docks are still used, and it was also the place just off the coast, at a place called Westerplatte, where the first Battle of World War II was fought. So they have a World War II museum as well there, which is really interesting. It was just a really nice city to walk around, dead picturesque, lots of beautiful photos, and we got lucky with the weather. It was nice and clear,
that's
dead sunny.
Prime.
So I really would recommend it. I love Poland. Poland is probably my second favourite country behind America. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. It's so cheap. There's so many places to go and visit. It's such a beautiful country, and I think it gets a bad reputation over here because I think people see Polish people coming over to the UK and taking our jobs and all this.
God,
but
let's start that debate.
Let me tell you, if they got paid the same over there as they did over here, they won't be living in the UK, because Poland is a much more beautiful country on the whole.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd really recommend that. I really enjoyed that.
I'll have to go. I've never been to Poland.
Oh, mate. We'll have to go.
What sort of one? Travelling Tom goes travelling.
We'll crack us. Travelling Tom goes travelling. Yeah. Well, there is another Travelling Tom on YouTube, actually. It's misspelt with one L. Like American spelling, but it's not proper English,
he's still got more subscribers.
He does 2 point... Do you know what he does as well?
What?
He has 2,900,000 subscribers. I've got 110.
Does he take his kit off?
He does, actually, yeah. He gets his buns out and smashes the subscribers. No, he's like a train nerd geek.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't want to offend him. There's nothing wrong with being a train enthusiast, a train aficionado.
I tell you what, have you ever seen that video where there's these people, they've queued up for ages to see this lovely like steam train come by, and this new electric train just comes flying past it and blocks their view of this steam. Oh, it's the best video I've ever seen.
I'm gonna have to see
it
that.
Was so, I'll show it to you after. It's so good. So good.
Yeah, so he's a train nerd, basically, and I'm getting beaten out by him.
Yeah.
But I'm still there. I think if you type in Travelling Tom on Google, I'm still the first one that comes up.
Yeah, that's the most search engine optimization skills.
TravellingTom.com, you can't get better than that, can you, really?
Can't get better. That's decent. Fair play.
So yeah, so Gdansk, you got any trips planned? What was your last trip?
Oh, God, I can't even remember what my last trip was.
Are you on the Travelling Tom podcast if you don't travel every single week?
Every single week, I know, yeah. It's just revision at the moment. But my last trip was Berlin.
Okay, when did you go?
Test me, February, that would have been too long ago.
So that wasn't that long ago.
That wasn't too long
I thought you were going to say it was like last year.
No.
It was February this year.
Yeah, February this year, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful city. I again praise the architect. It was like stunning. And for me, it was the fact that the city was so clean. If you go to London, you get like mess everywhere, rubbish everywhere. The buildings are just covered in pollution. Berlin, everything was immaculate. And most of the like tourist spots were free. Other than the Spy Museum, that was the only thing I had to pay for.
But where else did you go? What were the main sites you went and saw?
Obviously the bridge.
The bridge.
The bridge.
Which bridge?
The bridge over the park. There's like this famous bridge. This is testing my knowledge. Oh God.
I didn't go to this bridge.
Didn't go to
clearly,
this
so-
bridge. Clearly, this bridge. I'll show you a picture on Instagram. Reichstag building. Is that?
Oh, fantastic! That is one of the best tourist attractions I've ever been to.
And it's free.
Free.
And it's amazing.
The glass dome.
Yeah. And the open top roof surprised me at the top.
Oh, it's amazing, mate.
Stunning.
I'd just like to throw a bit of praise at the Reichstag building, because you have to like sign up in advance, don't you? You have to go and book your tickets.
Well, I signed up the night before.
Yeah, I think we did the day before.
Yeah.
And you get to go in, and basically the Reichstag building's where the German Parliament sit.
Yeah.
And they have a glass dome on top, and it's kind of really well positioned in the city because it provides like a panoramic view of everything
amazing.
going around, and it's like a spiral walkway up to the top of this glass dome. And as you go around, you've got like an audio guide on, and at certain points the audio guide plays, so you'll see, I don't know, something famous like Berlin Cathedral, and it'll explain the history behind Berlin Cathedral, or you'll go around and you'll see Berlin Central Station, and it'll explain the history in some fun facts about Berlin Central Station. I just thought, like, I love, like, I don't know, did you go up the big TV tower?
Didn't get a chance to go.
Well,
I would like to go on.
That's good because you can see out everywhere, and it's the tallest building in Berlin. But the Reichstag's so cool. It's like a different take on an observation deck, and it's just one of the best things I've done, and it's free.
Yeah, Brandenburg Gate was pretty cool as well.
Oh yeah, Brandenburg Gate.
I didn't actually think it was that. I thought it'd be massive, and I thought it'd be a bit more impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not that intimidating. It's just the fact of what it symbolises, and it's kind of its sort of reputation.
I know. Yeah, that was it.
Attraction.
I mean, when I typed in on YouTube like top spots to go to Berlin, as you do. I mean, one of the things that came up was that hotel. Was it Hotel I think it was Adler. No, where Michael Jackson held the baby out the window. And I was thinking,
oh God.
How is that like in one of the top spots to go to Berlin?
Well, we were in front of the Brandenburg Gate. It's on my Instagram actually, and my GoPro Hero's turned off for some reason now.
Oh well.
No, not on my.
We've only got this one now.
On my Instagram, me and my mate are doing that in front of it. Called it the Brandenburg Gate.
Creativity right there.
Heroic, I know.
That's what pays you the big bucks right there.
And the only thing I didn't like about Berlin was I thought it was a bit negative because everything's to do with like World War II,
there's
Hitler.
Heavy dressing and that.
It's quite a sort of.
It's stunning though, absolutely breathtaking.
It's a brilliant city. There's plenty going on. You've got. It's not just like Hitler. You've got all like the Berlin Wall stuff in it. I just feel like it still bears the scars of its past. And I just think, like when I went to Hamburg, I preferred that a bit more because it was a bit more upbeat. It was just a bit more cheery. Whereas Berlin's this kind of, it's sort of been this centralised zone of pain across like the 20th century. And
I think you go there though. You know that when you go there as well. But I think it's still beautiful in its like own way, I suppose.
I suppose. Yeah.
Next trip is Corfu, but hopefully I can get something in between here and August, which I will. I don't know where, but I will. But I can't wait to go to Corfu.
I've got a few things planned, but
we'll
leave that for another.
Yeah, we'll leave that for another day.
Well, I think we'll call it a day on this one. One thing I do want to say is I've set up an email. It's the Travelling Tom Podcast @gmail.com. So if you've got any questions for us or any of our guests, if you've got any problems, any rants you might want to have, or just any cool travel stories you think are worth sharing with the world.
You're just like, email us, right now.
I know. Just email us absolutely anything at all, and hopefully we'll provided it's not too extreme, we'll read it out. I mean, we're willing to push the boundaries.
Oh yeah, we will.
Just know. Like,
I mean, I didn't even know we'd made an email address until this current moment in time.
I haven't actually made it now.
Okay.
By the time this podcast comes out, it will have made it. So the Travelling Tom Podcast @gmail.com. Surely no one else has taken that yet. So
no, I mean it's quite niche.
And as per usual, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Travelling Tom in various guises with dots and underscores. But just literally type in Travelling Tom, I will come up.
For me, it's Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, JWR Simons, and then websites jwrsimons.com.
TravellingTom.com as well.
Oh yeah, I can't forget that one.
Subscribe to us. Thank you very much for watching, and as ever, we will see you next time.
God, salute.
And done. I hope that GoPro saved.
Yeah, well, yeah, that would be beautiful. I hope just that everything's recorded. I mean, I hope so. We'll see.